So is this the only trade you need in 2026, especially if you're done with day trading and you want to be a little more aggressive? You want a high risk, high reward style of trading? Well, yeah, overnight swing trading certainly is a good option for many of us. Let me tell you a little bit more. Our main algorithms mostly focus on SPY. That's why we call it SPY tomorrow, spying on tomorrow, the SPY, which is representative of the S&P 500, a basket of really the best of the American 500 stocks. And it's a good baseline. Not only that, it's highly liquid. Traders like to trade SPY because you can easily get in and get out, and that includes the options, which makes it a highly desirable trading tool. And so that's why we focus with our main algorithm on SPY. The thing is, there are different types of trading environments, and I've certainly learned the hard way about this, and SPY isn't always the best option for you to trade. You need volatility, especially if you're going to trade options. So when the market is relatively flat, we sometimes like to look at other opportunities such as the QQQ or IWM or IBIT, or maybe a very specific high volatility stock, maybe Tesla, for example. So at the end of the trading day, we look at our dashboards, and we have a very simple dashboard on the front page of SPY Tomorrow that just says up or down. Or for members, there's a simple dashboard that says up or down with a pressure signal or number that gives you a sense of how much pressure, as well as a greed and fear gauge. It's a good way to understand the mood of the market. But if you want to dig deeper, I have a dashboard that I developed for me, which really gives me all the tools, everything I want to look at before I make my overnight decision. And then we have the gold engines, in which you can take a look at the individual algorithms and how they're working. And as you get to know the algorithms, if that's your desire, you can then make better decisions because you can see how the market might open and maybe fade or grow throughout the morning. We generally give ourselves the first half hour of the trading day. That's where we call it correct, meaning if our indicator says up and it hits the up mark within the first half hour, we consider that correct because we were able to get out of that trade with a profit, or at least breaking even if it just goes a little bit above where we wanted it to be. Because sometimes the market does start off low and then works its way up in that first half hour. And again, you have to learn how to trade that type of market. Now, for those of you who are new, sometimes it's better not to get into the weeds like that and just say, look, I'm going to buy at the end of the trading day and I'm going to automatically sell in the morning. And you can set up a timer to do exactly that with many of the platforms out there. There are many ways to trade knowing the pressure at the end of the trading day, which highly correlates to how the market might open the next day. But again, you always want to make note of news such as earnings or quite possibly a government report in the morning. But despite that, you have a lot of choices, again, in terms of when you buy, when you sell, more importantly, when you sell, what you buy, such as ETFs or stock, and the style in which you buy it. Maybe, again, you could buy options and use a ratio trade to protect yourself during, say, highly volatile markets. I recommend you start off paper trading. Overnight swing trading is high risk and high reward trading. That's why I really like it. There's a lot of opportunity, but it does take some skill. Not the level of skill, at least in my opinion, that you need for day trading, because it's just one trade. Again, by the end of the day, sell in the morning, and you can't mess it up or sabotage yourself overnight. But you still have to exit, and you still need to make your own judgment decisions in terms of how aggressive or conservative you wish to be in your overnight trade based on your one or multiple signals. SPY Tomorrow is not the only signal. There are a number of signals that you could consider, technical signals such as put to call ratios or even the MACD, or a combination of those signals. But there are other things you want to consider too. I like to look at the hurdle rate, which guides me as to how far the market needs to move before my trade could possibly be profitable the next day, especially if I'm buying options. I also like to look at the gamma regime. In positive gamma markets, the market doesn't move as much, but it tends to trend up. That's something you can consider when you're just buying stocks in general. But when you're negative gamma, the market is a lot more volatile, which is a great opportunity for options. And generally, these days, the only time I use the ratio trades like 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1 options ratios, because when we're in flatter markets, those ratio trades can actually still lose money if the market doesn't move. And in flat markets, it doesn't move as much. So even if the indicator is correct, we could actually still lose money the next morning. So that kind of information is highly valuable. I generally depend on my market gap indicators to help me get a sense as to whether the market might gap up or down the next day, and if there might be a big enough move to use options. And if the market shows to be a little flat, well, then maybe I'll just put in a very small directional trade or not trade at all, or possibly switch over to leveraged ETFs, which are not affected by the overnight time decay, referred to as theta, that options are. So even a little move could mean a little bit of profit. I always recommend that you use capital that you have designated as high risk. So whether you're day trading or long-term swing trading or overnight swing trading like we do, you're using capital that if you lose it, you're not going to be hurt because you use your entire IRA or your vacation savings or your backup fund. You want to use capital that you can afford to lose, especially in the early days when you're just learning how to overnight swing trade. I'm a busy person, and that's why I like high risk, high reward trading. It works for me and my lifestyle, and perhaps it'll work for you. And let me help you figure that out. In the month of February, I'm going to create an 8-part series on overnight swing trading. And the first video will be very similar to this, an introduction to overnight swing trading, and then a succession of videos that digs deeper into the different tactics and best practices into overnight swing trading to help you make better decisions. But for now, head on over to spytomorrow.com and check out the front page at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, where you can see the signal for free, and you can paper trade or make small trades, test out overnight swing trading to see if it's right for you. And if you want to dig in even deeper, well, check out that series coming in February 2026. I'll see you in the next video.